Green Arrow, issue 12, legacy
Mm-hmm.
number 345. Joshua Williamson writing with Sean Isaacs, Eric Gapster, and Phil Hester on the art.
Yeah, so you won't have to copy my one here because you don't read this anymore because you're smart, unlike me.
And
Um,
I got out very early on this one.
yeah,
This
and here's the
is.
thing. The problem with Green Arrow is it's not like bad where I'm like, this is, offending me because it's that bad. It's just, it's so middle of the road that like nothing happens. It's kind of ill-defined on what the book's supposed to be about, right? So this whole thing, the whole series started with Ollie coming back through time, and he had went to Waller to separate from his family because he feels like all he ever does is put them in danger. And now it's led to Merlin taking control of the Heroes in Crisis thing, Sanctuary, and using different versions of his family to fight Ollie. And we get a recap of Ollie's origin and about how everything he's done, he's always done alone, right? So when he went to the island, he had to survive alone, and that's what he did. But as much as he felt like himself there, it's his career's been defined by everybody else that he's met since, and he includes Merlin in that, and all the people that taught him to be an archer. And it does this really cool thing where it gets to that page where he's on the island, and it looks like he's gonna send a flare because he's kind of wrapped up in like scraps of clothes, and he has the long beard and long hair, and he has this fire going, and he launches an arrow um, into like the sea. But as he's reminiscing with all these people, they're in silhouette with like stars, like they're almost like, it's not quite negative space, but they're taking up this space almost in his head that they're almost bigger than himself, despite sharing the same panel with him. But they're all people that we kind of recognize, right? It's his son, it's Connor, it's Roy, it's Hal, right? You can kind of cut the figures from there. And then it picks back up. So that all that art was the art by Phil Hester. So it's that real blocky, late '90s Green Arrow. And then it picks up with the fight scene. And to be honest, this is the majority of the issue, and it kind of falls flat. If this is supposed to be the climax in everything that we've gotten from the story, it's not handled well at all, because essentially it's Merlin saying like, you'll never defeat me, I have your family against me, and Ollie going, well, this was all part of the plan, because if these things that Waller put in my head can separate us, it can also bring us together, which then leads the rest of the arrows to show up, even though he told them to stay out. They end up providing enough cover, especially with Dinah, when she gets a great entrance with the canary cry. And Ollie ends up besting Merlin in like they both fire at the same time. Merlin misses, Ollie hits, and it kind of fries the cyborg part of Merlin. And as Merlin's on the ground, Diggle shows up, and is like, we have some unfinished business. They do the Ollie and Diggle do the Predator meme with the hands, which I always think is funny when it shows up in comics. And he's like, your plan worked, the signal to Waller used to send me here, let me track you, so we're good. And the rest of the family go back to the island, to kind of have like a little vacation, like a decompression. So we have all the Arrow characters. Roy finally gets to see Leanne, which is a nice moment. Isaac's art here makes Leanne look a little bit smaller, right? Because she's supposed to be like a late teens, as we've seen shoes, but it's just a perspective thing, I guess. They hug, and they kind of just drop the sanctuary mask there on the beach. And we get a montage of the family hanging out with Dinah coming to Ollie and, asking what's next. And he's like, well, why are we worrying about it? I have everybody. here with me now. This is kind of all I've wanted in life. And he tells her, you know, I think that I had to get lost so that you guys could find me. And it's kind of this nice little moment, but it's been like 3 or 4 issues to build to a family volleyball game, you know, with not much else going on. I'm still confused about the Merlin plot. Like, I know he just wanted to be the evil man that ruins Ollie's life because he felt Ollie ruined his life, but this book felt like it had a point of view that's now been lost. And, you know, I'll probably end up keep reading it depending what goes on with the absolute power. But it's feeling like there's not a point to it. I don't know what Josh Williamson what else he can say about Ollie at this juncture.
I mean, keep in mind it was meant to be a 6-issue mini, and then it got extended. So I wonder how little he had planned for past those 6 issues, maybe.
Because these last 6 issues felt that they could have been like 3 or 4, you know. And here it's very anticlimactic. It's, you know, the Arrow family comes in to help, and that gives Ollie just the, you know, the edge enough, which I guess you could say, you know, that Merlin has nobody. You know, his son's not around. They introduced Tommy Merlin in then that last issue where we got all of his machinations, but it's the fact that Ollie has all these people to lean on. That's where he gets his strength from, which, you know, could have been said in less issues, I guess. But this book has had so many ups and downs because the couple before this, when it was Connor and Ollie teaming up to take out Onomatopoeia, I thought it was really strong. You know, it was Williamson writing kind of to his strengths. And here, when he's just kind of trying to make it up as he goes almost, it just, you know, it feels like it's in a holding pattern. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how clustered these come out. If I'm going to keep going, like if it's on a very busy week, because I think I looked forward, and it looks like it's just going to tie into the next event. And if it's going to end up being like that, I don't know if it's a book that I have time for anymore. All that said, I'll give this a 6 out of 10.